episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a guitar. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell. That way you know what we're up to. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. Today we have a PRS SE. We've gotten a couple others directly from PRS. We got this one from our friends at Zzounds, and the Beard's going to tell you what we're going to look at today.
Yeah, so a PRS SE McCarty. I'm excited about that. I have two McCartys hanging on the wall, both from, well, one from 2000, one from 2001. You have a McCarty.
2019, yeah, just got it.
And so, yeah, we this is one of the guitars in that line we really like. So when we've been doing guitars lately, one of the things we start with is just like, what are the features we like? You can look up the list of features. I'm sure there's people that get into the geeky stuff somewhere else. I stole that from Pat, who stole that from
someone else.
Right. So for me, feature-wise, I feel like the neck's a little thicker than the older McCartys, the older wide fat necks, which I like, is cool. I like the splits, split the coils. I was never a big fan of the Les Paul setup with the four knobs and the three-way toggle. I'm becoming more of a fan of that, and boy, there's a lot of versatility, which we'll get into a little bit later. Other than that, every SE we get in, it's just a killer guitar. This, the McCartys are meant to be a little old school vintage style to them. I like that. They're meant to sound like, look up the story. PRS hired Ted McCarty to help him design a guitar that sounded like Dwayne Albin's Les Paul at the Fillmore East. I forget who they did that for. Do you remember who they did that for?
Was it Grissom? Is that where it started? Grissom was involved in the
yeah. Because the original McCartys were like the GCT grew out of that.
Right.
So anyway, those are the features that I really like about it. I do like the adjustable saddles too, because yeah, it's cool. Anything you want to add to that before we get into the sounds?
I do. I like it as well. These Indonesian PRS SEs are really tugging at me because I was probably a snob. I mean, because I bought my guitars about the same time you did, so I've only known core models. And so to get our hands on the Silver Sky we have off frame and the DGT over there, it's like, wow, this is a really nice guitar. So we wanted to get this in, and got this in right after I got a 594 with a F-hole and the American-made 5815 LTs. And so I played them, both of them this week, and this one held its own in its own way for sure. I like the fact they're giving you at least a shallow violin carve. I just couldn't handle the flat top. I love that it has the maple binding. And I do love that you can split the coils, because on mine, you cannot. So I really have enjoyed trying to get into this guitar. And the price points that they're hitting with these guitars are crazy. This is like $949.
So real quick, let's get to the sounds first.
Yeah. We try to figure out a way to show you all of it, but because you have two pickups that can split. So I always start my clean tone. I always start in the bridge. So I did the bridge. I did the bridge split. I did the middle, and I did the middle split, and then I went to the neck, and then I did the neck split. So follow that bouncing ball all the way through. This is what we did.
So there was no way Pat would let me get through the sounds without, what your favorite thing is. And so we had to figure this out. So we went back, Pat went back through the sounds, both humbuckers on, then you split the bridge, then you split the neck, and then you split them both. So you can hear what that middle position sounds like.
Right.
Really, if you think about it, that middle position has 4 different sounds in it. And this is what it sounds like. So they're the clean tones, but now we wanted to get into a little bit. So we have 2 jams, and we've tried out some pedals from all of our series for you. We're going to start with one of the jams. For the first jam, I plugged it in to the Barber Electronics Direct Drive. Go figure, right? Version 1, but it was a special version 1. It is the, it's a B custom. So basically, he took version 1.
Which, shockingly enough, is not on the board.
No, there's one right there.
Yeah.
There's always one sitting somewhere close by. Took a version 1 and put it in a small box for me. So I don't know what you'll see floating above, but that's
whatever the editor decides to put there.
So we're into the Echo Tour. Pat, during that you played
Silver Sky SE through making its debut on the channel, the Hendrix HDRX 20. We have not shot a video about this. I played that with the Silver Sky, and because it doesn't have reverb or an effects loop, I put this in front of it.
Right, Dispatch Master. Sounds like this.
So whenever we get a new guitar, we always think, well, how would it work with the series that we've done? So we didn't hit all of them, but started with that Leslie sound. I used the DLS Rotospin with, obviously, the star of the show here tonight, and I played it through the Tyler, and this is what it did.
So the next series for me would have been, it's Electra series. During that series, we talked to Josh Smith a couple times, and we actually have one of the Tchulas that he made famous from Lovepedal right here. And I thought, well, let's run it into that bad boy and see what it sounds like. And when I did it really intentionally to work the volume knob so you could hear the different pickups with the volume knob being full up and rolled back to clean up.
All right, so coming out of that, one of the other series we did was tremolo, which was one of my favorite effects. And tonight we got that tremolo courtesy of the Hydra from Keeley.
One of my favorite series that we've done was the envelope filter series. We've got to play with so many different envelope filters, and one that we have not been able to get rid of and we've kept around is the Spectrum Intelligent filter. And full disclosure here, I plugged it in the night, turned it on, and we both went, well, that sounds cool. And that's what we used. We didn't turn a knob. We didn't do a thing. I think it's maybe in one of the presets. I have no idea, but it does sound really kind of spectacular. It really covers the full spectrum.
So before we wrap up this video, we have one more jam, and I did take the Hendrix amp for a little bit more of a spin. I tried to get all the drive you're hearing is out of that amp. I used the Dispatch Master, and obviously, again, the star of the show, and I was accompanied by the Beard on...
Yeah, of course, I'm in the Tyler if he's using that. But, you know, with a PRS, grab the DGT SE, and I do think I was on the... No, I was in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the middle. I was in the middle for that. And I used, for a little bit of chorus...
TC Electronics Third Dimension.
Boy, that's spectacular.
I could just see Prince just kind of smiling from the great beyond when you started.
It's spectacular. So before we wrap this up, full disclosure, I think it's worth mentioning, when we got the DGT in, we pulled it out of the box, and it just plays beautifully. When we got the Silver Sky and we pull it out of the box, it plays beautifully. This one, when it came in...
It was almost set up for slide. The bridge was like super high. The posts were barely showing.
Yeah, we're not really sure, what happened there. We didn't... With Zzounds, we could have called them up, sent it back, and they would have flipped it to another guitar. The thing was, we knew that Dave Barber wanted to see this one, and so we had plans to take it over and show it to him. Go watch Keith Williams' episode with Dave when he talks about how he approaches guitar setup and how he tweaks it, and we just knew it would be perfect after he had his hands on it. So, he swears that it did not come out of the PRS factory that way, and the stuff we get from Zzounds doesn't come that way, so I don't know if it was somewhere else first.
Got repacked. Because he said even the volume knobs didn't line up. The numbers, like the volume knobs have been pulled off as well. Just a lot of stuff that was very unique for him. And he's close to PRS. He knows people over there.
Well, maybe another demo guy had it and they did one of the geeky things and they took it all apart to check all the parts and then put it back together, right? I don't know. I don't know how it works, but full disclosure on that. But anyway, we appreciate Zzounds sending it over. As always, there is a affiliate link probably down the bottom. We're trying to send for all the stuff we've used that you can get there tonight. we want to send you over there because they are really helping the community by sending this stuff over for us to share with you. Any final thoughts you want to add before we get into the jam?
Yeah, I did like it. I mean, I find myself saying, well, I liked it. But I did like it. Again, I like the option of being able to split. I like the fact that I put it through the Hendrix, all this Indonesian equipment around us tonight. It was pretty cool. I like it. I have the big brother of this one, but who knows? I don't know. It's really nice. Maybe this one or another one will eventually show up there.
I was thinking the McCarty S2 maybe.
Right.
Can I send this one back and we can get the S2?
You can. That's one we have not tried anything in the S2 line, so I'd be really anxious to try that. But yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, even despite a $949 price point, it is a really nice guitar.
I'm telling you, we have access to some really nice PRSs, and these ones that we're getting in the SE line have been killer. So with that, we will take a minute to just say thank you for watching. If you hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, leave comments, we appreciate that. Because anytime you interact with the show, that's what helps us interact with companies like Zzounds and PRS and everybody else to get cool stuff in to share with you. So again, we appreciate that. And with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.